A strange end to the week, as over 650,000 people tuned in for the Roaring Kitties live stream, and GME stock exploded in pre-market trading, but its stock was halted several times throughout the day and crashed over 40%. Is this coincidence or is this manipulation from someone hoping to stop him? Normal people want to see a good old-fashioned upset right now because just today, the jobs report confirmed that times are hard out there, as over 625,000 full-time jobs were erased this past month. Despite what government reports and algorithms may tell you, will you be able to discern reality from what's fake, real money from dumb money, and programming from the truth? Welcome to Bitcoin Daily. I'm Dante Cook, head of Swan Business. As you can see, my office is still in a little bit of construction mode, but we didn't want to wait to get back into our normal routine and our normal setup. On to the news. This past Thursday, USA's cricket team pulled off one of the greatest sports upsets in US history, defeating Pakistan's team, which was just in the T20 finals last year. Talk about a great upset story. The US's main superstar, Saurabh Netravalkar, is a normal person just like you and me, with a full-time job as an engineer at Oracle. We all love a story where an underdog takes down a giant. And that's what the world was hoping for, as over 650,000 people tuned into the Roaring Kitty live stream. People were so hyped, even companies like Frontier Airlines shut down their sales on their website just so they could watch the live stream. Before shares started trading this morning, the stock was ripping higher, and his call options and shares were worth almost $1 billion. It appeared as though he was ready to slay all the giants today, but that wasn't reality. GME reported earnings, and as we all know, the company's not doing so hot. It had a net income loss of over $30 million, and its sales were down from $1.24 billion to just $800 million something this past quarter. So the company did what any responsible company would do: issue more shares, dilute its shareholders, and try to raise some cash while the stock price is high. This did not play in Roaring Kitty's favor. And so with the stock price being depressed and it being halted several times during the live stream interview, people tuned in for what they thought was a fresh Roaring Kitty. Instead, they got what looked like a Wayne's brother wearing Stevie Wonder's glasses, drunk on PBR, and tripping off of 3 years worth of acid. And we were all questioning as he was talking whether or not he knew whether he had been punched in his own face or not. We were all hoping for the real thing, the real upset, where the underdog would slay the giant. Or like this person walking through the streets of Brazil, thinking they were actually coming up on Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. But come to find out, it wasn't them. We believe that there might be fraudulent behavior going on, as the stock has been halted over 7 times today, as the price began to rip every single time. But like we always say on this show, when you play fiat games, you win fiat prizes. Bitcoin cannot be halted, which is why one of our friends of the show, Larry Lepard, says you need to know the difference between dumb money and real money, which is Bitcoin.
And this is another useful definition of money, right? Is that I think it's the voting system that has the highest signal, right? So when you buy a car, you're signaling to the economy to produce more cars.
Right.
If you sell a house, you're signaling to the economy to produce less houses.
Right.
And if you move your purchasing power out of the system, right? So you're selling fiat currency to buy physical gold or to buy Bitcoin, you're actually hitting the government and the central bank where it hurts, which is their wallet. And that's the vote that carries.
And that's
signal.
what I don't think people fully understand, is that this is a really great protest vote.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the GameStop people, have you watched the movie Dumb Money?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
You should watch it. Because, you know, they had them cornered, and Ken Griffin got them to change the rules, just as they changed the rules with me on the short selling of financial stocks in 2008. And it's part of the reason I'm so bitter about the Fed. I just hate the Fed.
Yeah.
They've really damaged my family. But you know, those guys were trying to send a signal to the broken Wall Street system. Hey, you can't create more shares than exist, because if you do, we're going to short squeeze you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the Wall Street system fought back and changed the rules, and they fucked them.
Changing the rules.
Changing the rules, right? You can't change the rules in Bitcoin.
That's the
if
key.
we want to starve this beast,
Yes.
if we want to see this government collapse, okay,
Yes.
all we need is $1 million Bitcoin price.
Yes.
And everybody and their brother saying, I'm not savings in banks anymore. I'm using Bitcoin as an alternative.
Yeah.
The whole thing will come unglued.
Many of us are distracted from what's going on out there in the real world right now. There are real people hurting and suffering out there, like this guy.
I got a bill today from the IRS for $700, and I'm gonna explain to the IRS why I don't fucking have it. First off, everyone that is inside of the federal government, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, I don't give a fuck. If you work up there, it's your fault. All of you have decided that printing money and destroying the economy is just totally fucking okay. A bag of Doritos went from $2 to $12 in 2 years, and you want money from me for doing that? On top of that, I don't have any money because you're taking 60% of what I make through my LLC and absolutely crushing small businesses. And on top of that, the only reason I'm a small business is because during the imagination period of the flu scare of 2019 until forever, I guess, you mandated that I take an imagination shot that I didn't need and no one knew anything about. And if I didn't take it, you took my fucking career away from me. You took my ability to feed my child. You took that away from me. And for 2 years, I have sold t-shirts in parking lots, and I have worked this dead-end job at a gun store, and I have cut trees and mowed lawns and done anything I could. Everything I had to do just to feed my child. Not vacations, not new clothes, not a new truck, not thriving in my life, not living in my life, just surviving day to day. And if I don't pay you $700, I go to jail. What is slavery then?
His video checks out. Job numbers were released today. The number of people working multiple jobs in America rose to 8.4 million in May. That's a jump of 3 million people since the pandemic. And the jobs aren't even quality jobs. 1.2 million full-time jobs have been replaced by 1.5 million part-time jobs. Part-time employment skyrocketed in May, up 286,000, while full-time employment fell by 625,000. But according to the government, non-farm payrolls skyrocketed by 272,000 jobs in May, which somehow happened to surpass all of the expectations, even while unemployment rose to 4%. Something's not adding up here. One thing that's being discussed that's not being talked about out loud is that native-born Americans are losing jobs to foreigners. There's been zero job creation for native-born Americans since July of 2018, compared to foreign-born Americans who are taking the majority of jobs out there. But we're not here to divide anyone. While the world continues to be divided and absolutely crazy around us, Bitcoin's price has actually been extremely stable over the past several months. And so revisiting an old thread that he did in 2020, Swan CIO, Hafa Zaguri, went back to see what Bitcoin's price typically does in these low volatility periods. So when looking at all of Bitcoin's periods that have been at this volatility level or lower, he looked at the returns out 30 days, 90 days, and 365 days from this period. And the results might shock you. In 30 days, the average return for Bitcoin is 20.95%, with the lowest return being negative 32% from here, or 218% higher from here. In 90 days, the average return is up 56%, down 45% from here, and up 389%. When you look out a year from these low vol periods, the average return is 820%, with the lowest return being down 56% and the highest return being up over 8,000%. You can take a look at these numbers in dollar terms as well. Bitcoiners continue to stack, regardless of all the noise out there. Because just like the Roaring Kitty, we are putting on a trade right now. Our trade is that we believe that we have 100% probability of fiat currencies, whether it's the dollar or other currencies in the world, going to zero relative to Bitcoin and other hard assets over time. The short-term blips don't mean much in the grand scheme of things. So we continue to stack. We continue to spend less than we earn. Sure, when there's times to celebrate, we definitely know how to throw a good party. But when the world is noisy and Bitcoin's going to crash and fail, just like the Wall Street Journal says in this latest clip.
A lot of crypto skeptics believe that even though Bitcoin is going up now, it's bound to repeat its previous trajectory of going down or maybe even going to zero.
We continue to hodl, we continue to DCA and stack humbly through Bitcoin-only exchanges like Swan.com, where your next $10,000 in trades will be free, fee-free trades in your next $10,000 in purchases. So let me leave us with a few thoughts as we head into the weekend. This thought comes from Jack Dorsey, one of the co-founders of Square and also Twitter, who says that black boxes and algorithms are programming us, and we need the ability to choose and to decide the realities that we want to see and view.
This is going to sound a little bit crazy, but I think the free speech debate is a complete distraction right now. I think the real debate should be about free will. And we feel it right now because we are being programmed. We're being programmed based on what we say we're interested in. And we are told through these discovery mechanisms what is interesting. And as we engage and interact with this content, the algorithm continues to build more and more of this bias. But the algorithm, even if it's open source, is effectively a black box. You cannot predict 100% of the time how it's going to work, what it's going to show you. And it can be moved and changed at any time. And because people become so dependent upon it, it's actually changing and impacting the agency we have, the free agency we have. And I think the only answer to this is not to work harder at open sourcing algorithms or making them more explainable about what they're doing and why they're doing it, but to give people choice. Give people choice of what algorithm they want to use from a party that they trust. Give people choice to build their own algorithm that they can plug in on top of these networks and see what they want, and they can shift them out as well. And give people choice to have really a marketplace around an algorithm that you can choose.
We all need to choose what reality we are going to see and believe, because even retailers like Costco now are selling our data to create their own ad network. Will we have our attention hijacked and programmed? Will we be pulled by the news of the moment versus the news of the decade or the century, which is we're moving into an era of digital abundance, and we need tools and technology that will help us implement digital scarcity. And the best tool and solution to do that is Bitcoin. The world is getting crazier, and Bitcoin is just one of the ways that I know that people around me are choosing to opt for the truth. What things will you intentionally spend your time consuming this weekend? Give it a thought. And with that, we're signing off for the day. This is Dante Cook with Swan.com. Happy stacking.